Hey guys, Chris the Irate Gamer here, and I've been watching a lot of posts by 8-Bit Eric online, and I just been laughing because there's this whole drama thing going on with the I think the top person over at was it Kakatu or Kotaku, however the hell you say it. I guess they stepped down. I want to interject here because I was at E3. I ended up seeing these people face to face and interacting with these people, not just Kakatu. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but IGN, Gamespot, all these publishing magazines, and they all, like, even back in 2013, 2014, there was this shift happening because E3 was getting some notoriety by then. There was a real shift in, like, what was it, 2007, 2008, where it was so cool. It was so fun to be at. Like, everybody was so gracious. And then around 2010, 2011, these big corporation magazines saw as a big source of revenue income. And so it became a pay-for-play type of atmosphere. And I saw articles come out on their site where I was like, that doesn't make sense. Why would they praise this video game when it's horrible? And their fans were calling them out on it. But yeah, everything was becoming pay for play. As long as the gaming gaming companies were taking care of the media people, they were always getting praised. You hardly saw any bad press. In fact, just to show how this works, when Beatles, what was it? Beatles, it wasn't Guitar Hero, Rockstar, whatever it's like Guitar Hero, but the other one. Anyway, when that dropped, I was at the booth there, Rockstar booth. I said something that they didn't like about the game, and the outlet that I was working for at the time, they got some major heat from Rockstar. I think that was the publishing company, because they worked with MTV, and it was just, all these companies are in bed with each other. So when they saw me say whatever I said about their game, they were like, you need to take that down, blah, 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 whatever. And I had to comply, because it threatened the whole chain of command over at the gaming company that I was affiliated with. So I was like, okay, they strong-armed me in taking it down. I had no say in the matter. So that's just a small microcosm of what goes on in all these big ones, let me tell you. And the only time that I was on any of these news sites was when I was affiliated with doing Skylander stuff. I did this stop-motion Skylander thing, and Activision actually went to, I think it was IGN. You might have to look that up, but I think it was IGN, and they're like, hey, feature this on your front page. And they did. So when you see these publishing magazine online people, they have no control over their content, basically. It's all these gaming companies strong-arming them. And if they don't like, let's say, like a small independent company that they don't like comes out with a video game, they can come in and say, hey, we don't want that on their site. Just, we'll take care of you. Just don't do that. Another thing they did, these publishing companies did, I met with them a lot or ran into them a lot in the back areas behind closed doors in E3, because I had the press pass and all that stuff so I can get back in those places. And boy, there's just an air of arrogance among all those people. Because I'm a nice person. I'll go up and start talking to people and be like, hey, you having a good con? How are you doing? What are you seeing? These guys that worked at these like GameSpot and things like that, they were such dicks, man. I tell you, you couldn't talk to them. They're just like, thumbing your nose at you and everything else. I'm like, wow, I'm just trying to be nice, dude. I'm not trying to step on your feet. So we're all just having fun, trying to do our job here. So And so some of the tactics that they used to do, which used to really make me mad, is that they were really buddy-buddy with these publishing companies, and they would talk about stuff with these magazines that they wouldn't share with people like me. And it's funny because I caught a lot of them, like the PR people for these gaming companies. I tripped a lot of them up, and that's why I used to edit up a lot of my interviews, because I did a lot of legwork when I went to E3 and did interviews. So I would go home that night, or I'd go back to the hotel that night and kind of go through my news feed and be like, okay, when I meet with the PR person, let me ask about this, and this. So when I would meet with the PR person the next day, I'd be like, okay, well, can you tell me a little bit about this aspect of the game? And they're like, well, I can't talk about that stuff. And then I'd be like, well, you talked about it with IGN. And then they would get mad. They'd be like, well, I can't talk about that. Whatever excuse they used to throw at me. Happened all the time. LucasArts was notorious for doing that. Boy, they got so mad at me because I want to know more about this game and give you guys the whole spiel about a game. And another thing they would do that would just tick me off is I would have a meeting with these PR people, but the people at like GameStop GameSpot, they would sit there with the PR people for like an hour or two and just keep asking questions and keep them from other people going out and doing interviews with other people. And it was just so frustrating. I'm like, look, I have an interview with this person, and you can't really bust into their interview. That's not kosher. But that's some of the things they do. That's just... So I wanted to throw my hat into the ring. So there you go, 8-Bit Eric. There's some firepower for you. These guys, they just are very ruthless. They're not, if they're not for the common person, interest wise, they have an agenda that they're trying to fulfill, and the viewer be damned, or the reader be damned. So yeah, hope that helps. I hope that's a little bit eye-opening for you guys, because I saw it firsthand.